What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 59 of the Game Bowl Podcast, the official podcast of thegamebowl.com, which posts to iTunes every Tuesday and YouTube every Wednesday. And we're going to change up this week. We normally have a pretty exclusive cast. I would say the same 34 people are on, including my co-host Grant, who is actually celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, Grant. So he couldn't be here. He's out celebrating, I guess, probably out with the family or something. So that's why he's not here. But joining me this week is an entirely new cast, and for the first time in a while, we have K-Money, Kyle Inman. How are you?
Hello, I'm just peachy, as always.
Of course, I'm glad to hear that.
Yep.
I'm very glad to hear that. What's anything new? Enjoying
No, not really.
any
Not
games
really.
or anything? Well, we'll get to what we're playing, so.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot.
Oh, yeah, me too. Also joining us is none other than the most wonderful human being in the world, T-Rex
T-Rex.
himself, Tyler Daniels.
Hi guys, good
How
to
are
be
you?
here again. Oh,
Yeah,
can't complain.
been a while.
Yeah, no, it certainly has been a while. I think the last episode I was on was the Christmas cast, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so it's been a few months.
Yeah, certainly
Where
has
we
been-
were hysterically laughing almost the entire time.
Yes, and that's right, Grant.
Don't even
Stay away on your birthday because yes, birthdays come every year, but this episode is a one-off. Boom.
This is going to be like the hottest mixtape in the history of podcasts. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, because
We're transporting to the 70s.
I wish that'd be fantastic.
A-track.
We are, in fact, I don't see how to leave it now. Anyways, again, this is the Game Bowl Podcast, posted on iTunes every Tuesday, and YouTube every Wednesday, and of course, check out thegamebowl.com. So, what do you say we start with, as always, what we're playing? T-Rex, why don't you start?
Well, okay. Because of the craze with Dark Souls 3, thought let me jump back on Bloodborne, because I was itching for
Good
that.
man.
Yeah, itching for that style of gameplay, and actually a bit broke this month, so didn't want to break the bank on Dark Souls 3, so I decided, you know what, I've got Bloodborne lying here, haven't touched it in a while, let's jump back in, because I got really frustrated, as one
Yep.
always gets with these sorts of games, and yeah, just been having a blast, because jumped back in, found my flow, found a weapon that I liked, and now
Stick to
I'm
that
just
skill.
sticking with it, running with it, and actually today decided to fire up the PS3 again, because I bought a couple of PS3 games, so just decided to dive back in, so I started playing, what is this game? Dead to Rights Retribution.
Oh,
I believe it's published by
is
Namco.
that- no, I'm thinking of Ride to Hell Retribution, the really bad game. I'm thinking of- it's like
The biker
bad.
game, it's like super bad.
So it's not
game,
that?
yeah. No, this is the one where you play as a cop.
Okay,
Jack
Dead Light
Slade,
sounds really familiar. I'm gonna look this up.
with the dog Shadow. Don't you remember
Was it on
Greg would
PS2
always
or
go
Xbox?
crazy. Shadow, no. Yes, it was. So then they decided to bring it back on the last gen consoles, to like give it like a grittier take. Okay, not to say it wasn't gritty before, but yeah, they just decided to go like with a darker color palette, if you will. So
Okay.
been playing that, and I managed to pick up Vanquish in the bargain bin. And
Oh, nice,
because I've
nice.
been meaning to play that like since forever and never got around to it, but now finally have it, and then yeah, gonna be jumping on that. So
Yeah, I've heard
that's
really good
basically-
things about that game.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been playing.
Okay, so I'm going to look up some gameplay real quickly, so I apologize if you hear something in the background. I am, like, 99% sure my brother got this game when he was younger. I vividly remember, like, the name sounds so familiar, Dead to Rights. I'm watching some gameplay real quickly, and it looks, oh god, that dog just ate the guy's neck.
Oh, I've heard about
Crap,
this
what the
game.
hell? Why the hell did my parents let my brother buy this game? Anyways, yeah, the name sounds familiar and it kind of looks familiar, so I'm sure my brother had this at one point. Vanquish sounds familiar. I cannot for the life of me think of what it is. I know I've seen like in a GameStop and stuff, but I've never played it. So, what kind of game is that?
Just like what could I equate it to? Okay, let's say Bayonetta and a third-person
Sonic.
shooter had a baby.
I'm sold.
Yes, and Sonic, yeah, let's throw some Sonic in there
Oh,
too.
I don't
Yeah.
want it anymore.
Well, okay, the speed
No, it's
aspect
it's
of
like
Sonic. Yeah, it's like super frantic, the gameplay.
If
Like
it
really
involves
over the top.
Sonic, I don't want it.
it's just really fast.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you said Bayonetta, and I'm like, sign me up. 'Cause that's fantastic.
Yeah, really, really cool game. And yeah, actually I haven't played much of it. I actually need to get into it a bit more because I literally just like fired up, played through the tutorial, and was like, okay, this is really cool. But then yeah, life got in the way and had to hang up the controller for a while. So hopefully tomorrow or later on today, since it's 1 a.m. over here, I'll be jumping back into it.
Holy cow, it's 1 a.m. Jesus,
Yeah.
why did you commit to this?
Because I love you guys.
Oh, you're too kind. You are the prettiest princess in the world.
I think it's like
Sacrificing sleep
For
the
anyone not
podcast.
involved in Game Boy, you're gonna have no context of that, so just deal with it. Anyways, I wish I had my PS3 still. I would buy so many JRPGs I didn't play, or some that I would totally replay, like Ni no Kuni, or I'd probably get a couple Tales games because I never played that series before. And there's so many RPGs on the 360 and PS3, and I've been waiting for like a really cheap price. Like I don't want to buy like a refurbished one. I want to buy a new one. And like if I can
Yeah.
spend like $100 on one, like new, I'll do that. Because I would gladly buy a PS3 just for all those JRPGs. Anyways, K Money, what have you been playing?
For anybody watching the stream, you probably can tell just by my image. I've been playing a lot of Ratchet and Clank, like a lot of Ratchet and Clank, and just like, oh man, such a nostalgia trip. It really is.
Real quick, shameless plug. Check out my review on thegamebull.com. There you go. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. Yeah, and it's just like, because Ratchet and Clank is probably like my most played series when I was younger. So it's like I played it more than Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, and just a lot of other games. I played Ratchet and Clank like a lot, and I played
Yeah.
all four of the original PS2 games. I played them a lot. So it's just like when Ratchet and Clank finally came out this year, it's like, oh man, here it is.
Yeah.
And it's like to find out that's actually amazing. It's like, oh man, it's like not what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be nice, good, but I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting it to be like
Like
amazing
nostalgic, but
because it is a
like,
movie tie-in. So.
yeah. I feel the same way. Just to chime into that, that's what I'm playing as well. And like I mean, Ratchet and Clank is one of my favorite series on PS2. I played the heck out of the first one. Even more of Up Your Arsenal. I'd probably beat that like well over 10 times. And then yeah, it's like Up Your Arsenal is probably one of my favorite games. And then I played a little bit of the PS3 one. I think I played Tools of Destruction for extensively enough that I can say I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I could
played,
say
I
the
think,
same.
Size Matters. I played that on the PSP, and I thought it was okay. But like I just at some point I stopped playing them, and I was like, I missed this, and seeing the trailers, I wasn't really following it much. Like when they announced it and everything, I was like, oh, like I didn't even know this game was announced.
Yeah, I was more excited for the movie.
Yeah, and then I saw the trailer for the movie, and I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna check this out, and I found out it's a reboot. It's a movie tie-in. It's
The movie's based on the first game, and then the game is based off of the movie.
Yeah, and how the game is like it's not just straight up Ratchet and Clank 1 on PS4. Like it's more than that. It's they take things from stuff they built upon with the series, Raritanium, upgradable weapons, and upgrading.
Yeah, you got strafing, which now sounds crazy to say that one of the biggest features in a new Ratchet and Clank game is strafing, but Ratchet and Clank first came out in 2002, so it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I mean they added it in the later games too, but it's like strafing helps so much, but
yeah, definitely.
Just playing it, I always thought Ratchet and Clank looked nice, it looks really cool, but then when I first saw it, and especially the cutscenes, I'm like, holy crap, this looks like a Pixar film.
Yeah, and the graphics, they're just mind-blowing.
It's gorgeous. It's bright, it's colorful.
the art style is just like the most fantastic thing like ever. They basically turned the movie, which is a completely CG movie, into a video game.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of theorize that maybe this is what Insomniac had intended to go for originally, but they of course couldn't do it with the PS2. But now they have a much more technically powerful
Yeah,
system.
definitely.
They can achieve a more closer, anime
Yeah,
Pixar
yeah,
esque
definitely.
aesthetic, and it was such a treat. It was because I haven't played the original Ratchet and Clank since probably 2002, 2003, and it was so refreshing to go back, and most of the planets looked so familiar. I remember where secret passages were, and
Yeah, yeah,
some of the nuances on each planet, the nooks and crannies, um, and I loved it. I played that game so much as a kid, and I loved it. And then I'm like, holy, I remember where I was when I first went on, Pokitaru or Ratchet's homeworld of Velden, and it was so nostalgic.
yeah.
And um, one second, Jake says no Grant, sad face. Um, but like I was like, holy crap, I don't remember this game looking this good, and like just everything about it, like just so much nostalgia pouring in, and then they add in the guns and everything, and the guns are one of my favorite part of this game.
Yeah,
I wasn't,
that's just Insomniac.
yeah, like I wasn't crazy about the weapon selection. For new fans, it's great. Longtime vets would appreciate. Excuse me, Glove of Doom, the Groovatron, all these guns that are just fun and they're wacky, and it's what
Yeah,
Insomniac does well. Um, but I was just like, I was hoping for some more. They have
yeah.
a
The
couple.
proton drum is kind of just like it's
It's
based off a weapon from Sunset Overdrive. Like it's a
I
I
believe
can't
it's a
remember the
Super
weapon's
Nintendo
name
as
in
well,
Sunset Overdrive, but it's a direct rip from one of those weapons.
which is
And then
astounding. So it's kind of just doing stuff all themselves.
yeah,
Um,
and
but
the pixelizer
I
is
thought Pixar was
pretty
really
cool.
yeah, it turns into like 8-bit pixels and everything. That's
It's
cool.
like I think there was in an Up Your Arsenal there was a gun that was sort of like a shotgun. I'm pretty
Yeah, that
sure
sounds familiar.
that's pretty much what the pixelizer is, just with the graphical effect.
It might be. I'm not positive on that, but yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, it
And
is. It
just
really
quickly
is.
sum it up. So I don't want to go too much in Ratchet and Clank. Um, it's just I love it. Jake says, to be honest, I don't think I'll play much more Ratchet and Clank. It's fun, but it's not for me. I never really care for the older ones either. And maybe just want to play Sunset Overdrive. That's fair, Jake. If you didn't really grow up the series, I'm not going to fault you for not wanting to, you know, play this anymore. But I'm glad you give it a shot. But just to quickly wrap it up, I think, in my opinion, it is the perfect entry point for anybody either wanting to get into the series for the very first time
Yeah,
or looking to get back into the series. I know I got back into the series with this, and it gets me excited for the movie. And a few things I
yeah.
appreciate are the fact that it's still funny, but it's not as raunchy. I think it's become more accessible because those jokes would probably go over a young kid's head.
I just miss the innuendo subtitles.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it went over my head when I was 8 or 9 years old.
Going
But
commando, Up Your Arsenal,
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I think
size matters.
it's more accessible. But overall, though, I think this reboot is the perfect game, and it gets me very excited for the film.
Yeah, and it definitely shows off the power of the PS4.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely.
like basically same level as Uncharted 4 does. Uncharted 4 was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. Um,
Great. Sounds like this is my game,
yeah, absolutely.
like my
If
kind of
if,
game
if
because I don't know if I've told you guys before. Like I'm one of the people who like I'm in a weird space because I never had a PS2, so I missed out on the platforming mascots of the time. Like I was
yeah,
big into Crash Bandicoot on PS1, but it just never occurred to me to ask my parents for a PS2. And I know that sounds weird. Like, I would go to friends' houses and play on their PS2s, but it just never crossed my mind to ask my parents for one of my own. So I pretty much like missed out like on most of the big PS2 titles, like your Ratchet and Clanks, your Jack and Daxters, and those sort of things. So I missed that era where, um, how could I put it, that platforming mascots had evolved, so there was more depth. Because I mean, Crash Bandicoot was like pretty simple. I mean, if you have to compare it to like the first Ratchet and Clank, and then my first
Yeah.
experience with Ratchet and Clank was actually Size Matters on the PSP, and I actually really enjoyed it. And then I just don't know why I never bothered to like try to go back and try out the other games, even though I
Yes.
enjoyed that one so much.
Size Matters would be like a weird entry point into the series. But if you do play that game first, if you play the other Ratchet and Clanks, I think you'd like them a lot more. Just because I think a lot of people were disappointed with Size Matters. Ratchet and
I
Clank
actually
fans.
really liked Size Matters. Well, I think maybe
Yeah.
because I hadn't played the others, and then it was my first foray into the franchise. So I
Yeah,
really, really enjoyed the game so much.
it wasn't actually developed by Insomniac either. It was developed
Really?
by another company. Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
Secret
Right.
Agent Clank.
Yeah, I
Um,
tried that one.
You know,
Yeah, like going off of that stuff, like both Naughty Dog and Insomniac, just to see them like still making like fantastic games for almost over 20 years is just like mind-boggling.
Hmm.
And that they make great looking games, that they're like pioneers in graphic design. That's just insane. That with Sony pushing them to do this, pushing the power of the PS4, it's just it makes them look like such a great publisher and makes the developers look like such great developers.
Yeah.
That's something that Microsoft can't ever have too.
We'll disagree there, but
I mean, like with Insomniac,
oh yeah,
like
of course.
Naughty Dog.
Yeah, they don't have those track record studios of
Yeah,
prowess.
like they had Bungie,
Hmm.
but that yeah.
They'll get there, but what was I gonna say? I don't remember. Oh, I would like to see Insomniac go back to Resistance. Resistance was so good.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people feel that way. They might. I guess that's really on Sony.
Yeah,
At this point.
I know a lot of people are not gonna be happy, myself included. But anyways, Kyle, are you playing anything else?
I think you know what I'm playing. Final Fantasy 14
Oh
around 4.
boy!
That I'm sure that makes you giddy.
Oh,
But
insert audible sigh.
Alright, don't do this. Don't do this.
but yeah, I remember. I guess like about a year ago, I tried out a free trial and I played Famateur, and it's just like this is pretty cool. I like this because, of course, growing up, I played MMOs like Pirates of the Caribbean Online, Wizard 101, RuneScape. So, getting into like Final Fantasy 14 stuff is just like this looks fantastic. This plays fantastic. This is a great MMO. But I never got around to buying a game. I never got around to buying a monthly subscription either. So it's just like now I'm like, well, summer's about to hit. I'm not really playing anything. Nothing's really coming out besides Uncharted 4. So I might as well go ahead and buy it, and I'm going to go play it. And so here I am playing it, and I have a Lancer who I just turned into a rogue, but of course you can have different jobs at the same time, so that's nice.
Yeah, definitely. It is so convenient that you can have all your classes on a one character. That's
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite things. My main is my Dragoon,
Yeah.
which is an advanced class of the Lantern. I love it. And for now, I'm almost doing very little in terms of playing. I'm just going to the Gold Saucer, doing these mini cactpot lottery thing, which gets you its currency, which I'm pretty much just saving up to get a mount. I got a while to go, but unless I hit big on the jumbo lottery. But yeah, I'm glad to see you're really enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like you're enjoying it now, And all I can say is wait until you get to the later game, and then wait until you get to Heaven's Ward, because Heaven's Ward is exceptional. Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 14, The Realm Reborn itself is very good, but Heaven's Ward is much better. The dungeons are great. The trials, which are Aeon's Guardian Forces, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
The story is really good too. And I think every 6 months they come out with a new set of patch quests. So I think right now we're on 3 point. Oh gosh, 3 I believe. The gears have changed. So I think probably in 4 to 5 months we'll have 3.4 or 3.5, which will add more quests that'll just add on to the main story. Um, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get back to it at some point, but for now,
Yeah.
I'm trying to finish up a few games first before I get
Yeah.
back into it.
I'm definitely glad that Square Enix actually decided to develop it, Realm Reborn that is, because of course Final Fantasy 14 came out, and of course not really many people liked it.
No, it was not received well.
And they took time and money redeveloping it like completely from the
Mhm.
ground up,
Mm-hmm.
and people actually really liked it. So it's just
Oh,
like
it's fantastic.
it pulled off, and it's just
Yeah,
like thank you Square Enix for taking a chance on that.
absolutely. Yeah, I have a good friend on Twitter who he's helped me out tremendously. Just explaining how certain fights work or how to get certain items and all this stuff. And he's been playing for I think probably a couple thousand hours now, and I'm like
Wow.
260 hours in, and then I there's still so much stuff I don't understand. I'm dabbling in an Alexander raid, which a lot of people were being upset about on Twitter. I was like, I don't know what the hell all this means. I would hope to maybe someday know what it means, but for now, I'm just kind of doing my own thing. Yeah, it's very good. I'm glad you're playing. We have quite a number of people from the game will playing it, which
Yeah.
excites me. And to wrap up what I've been playing a little bit here and there of Dark Souls 3. I think it's very good. I still at the moment prefer Bloodborne to Dark Souls, but to be fair, I have not played Dark Souls as extensively as I have with Bloodborne. It seems like with Dark Souls, I'll always hit a wall, um, and that's where I'm just like I can't continue to do this. But that's kind of how it is, though. You hit a wall, but you gotta progress through, and you gotta get a
Yeah.
feel
Definitely.
for the enemies and the environments, and just know your surroundings. And it's just so satisfying when you get to the next
Yeah.
day. It's like, I'm making progress again. And it's the best. I reached a new area yesterday or the other day, the day before, and I thought it was great because I can progress again, and I can adventure out and go out of my comfort zone. But Colin says, "Thanks, Souls." Yeah, it's really good, and I'm definitely a fan of it. You can play it like Bloodborne, not
Yeah.
as much like Bloodborne, but you can.
It's modeled after it, I'm sure. So
Uh,
in a way, anyway.
no,
Similar.
I would disagree. I mean, it's you can play it like Dark Souls if you want, and you can
Yeah.
play it like Bloodborne if you want. And I think that's great because it's more. Excuse me, it is more accessible to both people who want to give it a shot. And with it, I have Dark Souls 2 on PS4, Scholar First, and I have Dark Souls 1 on my Xbox One. And I am enjoying Dark Souls 3 quite a bit. I just, I would like to really get into the series, like Michael and Dylan and Cody are. I think that would be awesome. But, we'll see. I want to clear out some other games first. And then real quickly, I am addicted to Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor 2. I think I've spoken about this before. I loved the original game, and then the sequel. It's gotten so much better. There's more demons to recruit, and it's such an addictive hook. I love trying to get all the skills so I can maximize my chances to win. The story's good, with the interesting characters, and I put like 17 hours into it in the last 3 or 4 days. That's more time than I had in it before those 3 or 4 days. So I'm like, holy crap! I'm chugging along. Like I normally try, and if it's a story-based game, I try and play enough. But when it gets to the point where I'm overwhelmed, I take a break. So I just I can kind of process what I played more easily, and I'm just not just overloaded with information. And that with this one, I'm like, screw it. I'm so into this game right now.
Yeah.
I can see myself beating it by next week, maybe with this weekend, and I'd be okay with that. It's so good, and I think with it coming to 3DS, they added like another campaign in which I think it's another 30 hours, and it's tempting to play that because it's more Shin Megami Tensei, but I have some other priorities in the moment, and then I'm getting back into that Shin Megami Tensei kick. I
Yeah.
have
And
two other games in my backlog that I want to play that are Shin Megami Tensei games, and they just announced that Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse for the West coming, I think, this summer. And
yeah,
I'm so excited for that.
I bet, yeah. And what I played of SMT and stuff, I appreciate that like their stories and everything are like very philosophical. Um,
Yeah.
and it's like not many games dare to even touch like the material that SMT does, and I appreciate that. I mean, it's like interesting with like Devil Survivor and stuff, of course, that gets into religious material, and it's just like, it's interesting. It's interesting to see that Japanese developed games are kind of like free about this, and it's just like going through SMT and stuff. It's just like this is really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, what I appreciate about it is it's like Final Fantasy or Tales where you don't have to play, I mean, unless it's, like, well, actually, no, never mind, because Devil Survivor 1, the story is very different. Kind of some similar ideas in the story, but, new characters, new storyline, and everything. So you don't have to play this game to enjoy that game. And that's what I
Yeah.
always appreciate about JRPGs. And,
Yeah,
Also, it's like
definitely.
something-
JRPGs are like they can get very like serious in their story.
yeah, and Shin Megami Tensei is more about, demons and, you're thrust into chaos and, sometimes you're given a choice and you don't like either choice, but you have to make one. And, it's for the better of the people or it's, for your own selfishness. And it's like, there are some
Yeah.
messed up moments in there, but, it's all really good. And,
Yeah, like the funny thing is, Final Fantasy can get pretty serious at times too.
oh, absolutely.
Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 10, even Final Fantasy 7 and 8.
Yeah, definitely. But I do appreciate the most, I think, is these games are difficult. They are
Yeah.
probably some of the most difficult JRPGs I've played.
Yeah.
Like just today, I fought a boss and like he was just pure bullcrap. He essentially paralyzed one party. I was like, damn, I can't really be as effective. And then he turned one of my main characters to stone, and I was like, son of a gun! Like that's my most powerful character and probably my most effective character to take out this boss, and I can't because they're turned to stone.
No, whatever
Yeah.
gets me when I see the chat notification say SMT, I say, oh boy, Brett's about to rage.
Oh yeah, this game can make like I was raging today. I was like an enemy will have say 100 health left, and I have 2 attacks. I'll attack one guy, does 99 damage, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And then the second attack comes in, miss. And I had to wait an entire another turn to kill that last enemy, and I'm just like, this is Shin Megami Tensei in a nutshell. You think you have to put the cats in the bag? Nope, just kidding. Joke's on you. It's like, why? It's such a pain, but I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, that just sounds like a JRPG and a tactical RPG in a nutshell.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah, absolutely.
I know Vandal Hearts is really difficult.
Yeah. Anyways, 29 minutes later, what do you say we get into? I know Grant's gonna hate us for this. What do you say we get into the news storm?
Boo!
So, who? Honestly, that sounded like an alien. That was real.
I thought it was a yawn at first.
Stop it! You're freaking me out. So
We are invaded.
Tyler, what have you done? Our first story is a Red Dead Redemption 2 game map has been reportedly leaked. This is on GameSpot. So the story reads, An image of what is said to be the map for Red Dead Redemption 2's game world has appeared online. Initially, the image was posted on NeoGAF by user Midion. I'm not probably not reading there correctly, but oh well. Who later removed it, but not before it was saved and reposted. Tech Radar claims, quote, a source closer to the development of the new Red Dead game has confirmed to us the map is indeed the real deal. According to the site, the image is a very recent art direction map, and the image it's a landscape. It shows
It
the Great
depicts Louisiana.
Plains, Blackwater from the first game, and there are numerous islands, and kind of on the outskirts, and the player apparently can swim or take a boat to these locations.
It looks like it takes place in Louisiana, so I definitely think it'll be connected to Mafia 3 in some way. At least in Mafia series in general.
That would be. I would like to hear your theory on that in a minute. That would be interesting.
Colin saying a prequel in the chat.
Yeah, Colin says also a prequel to Red Dead. The game, which has not yet been announced by Red Dead Redemption developer Rockstar, is reportedly a prequel. The absence of a railroad, which is prominently featured in Redemption, is further evidence of this. The site says, however, it's worth noting that the map has a railroad in its key. And another interesting area featured on the map is New Bordeaux. This is the area where Mafia 3 is taking place, set in 1968. So yeah, what do we think of the possibility of Red Dead 2? I mean, I know a lot of people
Red Dead 3, please.
want Red Dead 2, and then a lot of people want Red Dead on Xbox via backwards compatibility, and like Red Dead Redemption was so good. I would love to see a sequel. I'm just curious, how could they, what would they do? I think Liam, Kyle, you and Liam were talking about potentially a young John Marston, more in his outlaw days.
Yeah, before the events of Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, before he fights Godzilla, and what do you guys think about the idea of? Well, first, I mean, Red Dead 2 sounds fantastic, but the idea of this potentially being a prequel, somehow connected to Mafia 3, and among other things.
I mean, it could go either way. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be placed in Texas. It'll be kind of different, seeing how both Red Dead games are placed in Texas, at least I think. I haven't played Red Dead Revolver, so I don't know.
That's the middle child no one talks about.
And so it'd be cool to see John Marston as an outlaw and just being bad, kind of taking a more Grand Theft Auto approach to the story in a way, which I'm all for because Grand Theft Auto 5 had an amazingly written story.
Who was the his former compatriot in the gang? Was it Bill? I forget his name.
It was Bill. It was I think it was 3 people.
Okay. I remember Bill was one of the guys.
Yeah, no, it was Bill. It was Bill, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyways, you were saying, Kyle?
Yeah, that would be interesting to see. It's sort of prequel. But it would also be interesting to see stuff they've done with Jack Marston, which was of course John's son. Of course, that would be a kind of revenge story. Of course, I don't want to spoil Red Dead Redemption on the podcast, although I'm sure probably everybody who's ever had anything to do with gaming currently plays games probably already knows the ending because it's so widespread on the internet already.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can say is if it is a prequel, then it's not about Jack because, Jack is he's a kid. And
Jack wouldn't even be born yet.
Yeah.
Or he would be a baby.
Probably, maybe, and just take control of baby Jack. he's robbing.
But if it was a sequel, I think it'd be interesting to see Jack in sort of a revenge story. Because that could be interesting to see. Because
I would definitely be interested to see Jack. I would like to see the idea of it first before just being thrust into here's Jack Marston. I want to see what the premise is, and why is Jack, say it is revenge, why is he going after whomever, or what is his motivation? So I think that'd be really interesting.
He has a ton of motivation, but
Coughlin says game's about 10 years old. So you can talk about it now. We're not going to spoil it. You never know. There are people who get pissed when you spoil Final Fantasy VII. Like, dude, that game's 20 years old. It'll-
Spoilers, it ends with credits.
Oh, get out.
Why?
How dare you.
You ruined Final Fantasy for me forever. I'm never going to play a Final Fantasy game again.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah. So sorry to cut in. It was Dutch's gang, and then the guys that John ran with were Bill Williamson and Javier Escuela.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So Bill
Yeah.
Williamson and Javier Escuela.
Yeah, so those are the two dudes, well, the two main
Three
guys,
Musketeers.
along with John. Yeah, pretty much the Three Musketeers, yes.
Yeah. Tyler, do you have any thoughts on all this stuff?
Okay, firstly, Red Dead Revolver is the Drake's Fortune of the Red Dead
The
franchise.
best. Go.
Second,
Brett, please, no. Don't do it, no.
Time.
That trophy belonged to Drake's Deception. I'm sorry.
No. As long as the tree doesn't belong to us, I'm okay with that.
oh boy, what can of worms have I opened now?
Anyways, Tyler, go on. Please go
Yeah.
on.
Then secondly, I'm really looking forward to this, although I didn't finish Red Dead Redemption. I didn't own the game, I had borrowed it from someone at the time, and the worst is, after I gave it back and I spoke to someone about it, they told me, dude, you were literally 4 missions away from finishing the game, and I was kicking
Yeah.
myself. Yes,
Ye-
like, okay, without like spoiling too much, like I got to the homestead,
Okay.
like the farming stuff, yes.
Yeah.
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 So-
So that was pretty close to the end.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
even though like I never finished the game, like it's an experience that I certainly haven't forgotten, and I mean like the talent that went into making that game certainly wasn't wasted on me. Like I mean from start to eventually where I ended up, like I was just awestruck with how awesome it is, because everybody always just said no, it's Grand Theft Auto but with horses, and I don't think that's an apt description for what that game is.
Oh, no,
It's
it's
so
not.
much more. So I pretty much think that this game being announced is a slam dunk. Like, okay, I could be wrong, maybe it could be some time off, but I feel it would benefit Rockstar quite a bit. I mean, to take a breather from like the modern day setting of Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah.
you know, and let them focus on another universe and give us time to rest from the modern setting. Because I mean, the online community for Grand Theft Auto 5 is still active, and I know a lot of people wanted single player content, and I don't think Rockstar is going to
Yeah,
be doing
just-
that because their resources are focused elsewhere.
Yeah, the case with Grand Theft Auto 5 is just it. As far as like DLC and stuff, it's just like crap added to crap. Because
Yes.
I didn't like GTA Online like at all. Like it's only good if you have like friends to play it with, and other than that, it's just like people and the server and stuff. Just like they're mean.
I mean, it's a
I'm not
sandbox.
gonna lie,
You
like
do
I
what the
was
hell you want.
super into it, eh? Like when
Yeah.
GTA Online launched.
And
Like
so,
I
but
was
yeah.
the few people who were there when you couldn't even complete the friggin' tutorial mission to get into GTA Online. We had to do
Yeah,
the race and the
that
car
was
wouldn't show up.
nuts. I remember
Yeah,
that.
that was insane, yes. But I mean, I stuck with it, and I played alone for an extended period of time, and then eventually a friend of mine got the game, and we would play
Yeah.
online together, and then he stopped playing because, yeah, like life got in the way, as per usual. He got married. I was like, okay, you want to choose your wife over me in games? That's fine, I understand. So, yeah.
I would never.
Yeah.
Every
So
time
then-
I got onto GTA Online, somebody just shot me for rocket launcher. I'm just like,
I know,
I'm done.
like it's the worst. Like sometimes I've had like such magical experiences. Like I'll never forget. Like one day I walked out of the garage, and you know, like you get stuck in the walking animation, so you can't move.
Yeah.
And then somebody else was pulling out of the garage as I was walking out, so they essentially ran me over by accident. because you have no control over your car. And then like I get up and then next thing the person like sends a message like, sorry, it was unintentional. Do you want to go for a game of golf?
Huh. That's awesome.
So
That's
it's like,
awesome.
okay, yeah. So I mean, like experiences like that are cool, but then I mean, when you have to deal sometimes with you simply just trying to go down the road to like buy new weapons or upgrade your car, and you have to constantly worry about people chasing you down to
Yeah.
that are trying to kill you. Like one time, I went to customize one of my cars, and no joke, as I'm pulling into the garage, there were three guys waiting inside of the garage, and then they just like let loose on me, and
Oh,
yeah.
Jesus. Poor soul.
Yeah, so I haven't gone online like in a good couple of months. Like for a while, I was like super into it. Like I even didn't mind playing alone. Like I was just doing my own thing. But
Mm,
it was the typical thing where
yeah.
sometimes you get into matchmaking with people that become like frustrating.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. But real quickly, I remember a friend of mine had Red Dead, and he was talking. I was like, dude, you got to play this game. It's so good. And I bought it, and I played it for a while, and I was just like, I just don't. Not that I don't get it, but I don't understand why people love this game. And then I went back, I think probably 2 or 3 years later, and I played it again. I played it to completion, and I was like, holy cow! I totally get why people love Red Dead, and I would totally take another one if you know it's up to that quality. If it's
Yeah.
about a younger John Marston, great because we already had that connection to him when he was older. I see a different side of him, maybe a more rough and tough. Um, but we'll see when they hopefully announce it at the C3. We'll see.
Yeah. And
We'll see.
and going back to GTA Online real quick. And on the other hand, Red Dead Redemption Online was fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
people
Okay.
like
That
it.
that I can agree with. That I can agree with.
Anyways,
Oh, yeah. Sorry. One last thing
oh no,
on
you're fine. Go.
the Red Dead topic. Like for me, like I always wanted a game like set in the West, like something
Yeah.
to scratch that itch. And I mean, like the last game that I played that was set in the West was Gun, and
God was
people were
great.
like, yeah, like I feel like I'm like one of the the few people that actually like Gun, like because people were very mixed on the game, and then yeah, I played the crap out of that, and then pretty much unlocked everything that I could, and I was like, man, when is another great game set in the West coming along? And then like years later, Rockstar answered my prayers. I was like, okay, so somebody was listening.
There you go.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. There is apparently um, future plans in regards, I guess, more information on Star Wars Battlefront's DLC. So this is via GameSpot. The story reads: The future of Star Wars Battlefront is coming into focus. Developer DICE today shared new details on the free and paid content coming to the sci-fi shooter in the months ahead. In terms of free content, players can expect new in-game events such as double XP weekends and community missions, as well as new HUT contracts to help players earn even more star cards. Perhaps more interesting is that DICE also teased that it has, quote, a couple of surprises in store that will involve giving players more options to play the game offline. Unfortunately, no further details were shared, and additionally, DICE has some cool activities planned for May 4th, which is Star Wars Day. And then as
No Ray, no play.
for paid content, Battlefront's second expansion, Bespin, is coming in June. As the name suggests, this game add-on takes players to Cloud City and adds 4 new maps. And Dice says, "quote You see AT-ATs in Cloud City, take to the skies in Fighter Squadron, and even spend time in a Carbonite chamber." And there's some more stuff. I guess my question is, in a polite way, do you guys care? And uh, are you still playing Star Wars Battlefront?
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Oh, wow, Kyle.
fair.
Yeah, that pretty much summed up my feelings well. At least, Kyle, you had a foot in the door. I never even bought the game.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. I mean,
I
I
played the beta and it just this isn't Battlefront.
no,
Oh.
it's not when I played when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
I played that survival mode, the survival mode.
yeah, it's some
I
fun.
got to play it at an event, and I liked it. But I'm with you, Brett. Like, and I'm sure you too, Kyle, played Battlefront 2 extensively.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
there was
loved
just
Conquest.
so much. Oh, wow, Conquest was amazing.
Galactic
I mean, there was just so much to do in those games, and then when they announced Battlefront, like I was like, I am so taking this with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the only way that I would have like had any interest in it is if EA reformed Pandemic.
That would be amazing.
But
that'd be really
they had DICE develop it, so it's just like and
Do you guys actually know the behind the scenes things that happened with Pandemic?
I don't. I remember it was in
I'm not
Battlefield,
entirely
Battlefield
sure.
3 was
Yeah.
developed.
Okay, so apparently, like what happened was the engine that they were using at the time, right, could only run on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the problem with Battlefront 3, and they didn't know what to do, like how to get a workaround of sorts to get it to run on the Xbox. So what they did in the meantime was, like, without EA knowing, Pandemic ran off to go and make Haze, and that's how PS3 wound up with an exclusive that didn't do too well.
Huh.
Yeah, using the engine that was meant for Battlefront 3.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and that was the beginning of the end, since Haze didn't sell all too well.
Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed Battlefront. But I had no intentions of buying the DLC.
Yeah.
I just from what I played, it's fun, but it's a game I can only play, like 4 or 5 matches at the most, and then I'm like, all right, I've had my flow for a few days. I get maybe an hour in. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's still fun. But not enough, and I'm not playing enough that I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna, put some money up to get these new maps and stuff. So, it's not for me, but I'm sure people who
Yeah.
bought season pass and are still playing it are very satisfied.
I'm pretty much that way with everybody, if not everybody, with every multiplayer exclusive game.
Yeah, I prefer to have some kind of single player component in there if possible.
Yeah.
Um, but let us move on to the March NPD report, which is the best-selling games in the United States. I'm sorry, Tyler, we cannot include South Africa. I'm sorry.
Somebody get me a green card. Let's make this happen.
So, of course, NPD, they do a monthly report to report physical sales in the United States. And during March, The Division was number 1, and Black Ops 3 still down from 2 to 9.
Really? Wow.
And rest in peace, Street Fighter 5 has fallen off the list entirely from its spot at number 7.
That doesn't surprise me.
Hey,
It really doesn't.
Street Fighter 5 is fantastic.
That's the sound of my heart.
Sorry, Tyler.
Hey, that game's great. Anyways, the rest of the story reads: Far Cry Primal, The Legend of Zelda, Twilight Princess HD, Grand Theft Auto 5, and EA Sports UFC 2 round out the top 5.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is still selling? Man, that is nuts. That is like seriously nuts. Because I thought everybody in the world already bought it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see.
Apparently not.
Apparently, it's getting there.
Yeah. Interesting note. MPD Group analyst Liam Callahan said in his statement that March 2016's physical software sales are 8% higher than last March's, rising from 395 million to 425 million. And overall sales of new games rose by 26%, and games launching in quarter one of 2016 sold 28% better in March than quarter one of last year in March. So that's pretty interesting.
And analysts thought that this generation was going to be pretty crap as far as like sales and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's
But the
been
PS4 is selling a lot, and the Xbox One is selling moderately well.
selling a lot. um,
I think analysts have estimated that there's been I think 19 million Xbox One sold so far,
yeah, it's
and of
about
Yeah,
course
1 million.
I remember
Microsoft
the guys of
stopped.
World of Tanks released numbers saying that they picked up that there are 36 million active PS4s and about 19 million Xbox Ones.
Yeah, I think we discussed it last week. I think projected by 2019, there's supposed to be I think 69 million PS4s and I think upwards of probably 40 million Xbox Ones, which is an insane number. I mean, combined that's about 110 million. So that's nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, I'm just gonna quickly go over the top 10. So at number one is The Division. Number two is Far Cry Primal. Three is Twilight Princess HD, which I have been meaning to play actually. Four is GTA 5. Five is EA Sports UFC 2. Six is MLB The Show 16. Shout out to the best sports game. Seven is Pokken Tournament. Eight is NBA 2K16. Nine is Black Ops 3. And Minecraft rounds out the list at number 10.
Now, if that list counted digital games being sold,
I believe it's
I'm
just
sure.
just physical.
Yeah, I'm sure Stardew Valley'd be at number one.
Yeah, it'd definitely be up there.
Like even I bought Stardew Valley.
Yeah, that game got some. I mean, then you have potentially what is it called, Undertale, and all those games. So
Yeah.
it's just physical stuff. But and then to no surprise, the PS4 was the top-selling console in the United States again during March 2016.
Wait, not the Wii U?
No,
Oh, bad world's ending.
I wish.
If you think the Vita has a chance, right?
Yes, it does. Sony has released a statement proclaiming that the PS4 is once again the best-selling console in the U.S. It reads, quote, "Thank you to our fans and partners for making PlayStation 4 the top-selling console and software sales leader for the month of March, as well as the number one console for fans of the division, according to NPD." And Sony spokesperson shared in a statement with GameSpot, "We are truly humbled by this success and look forward to delivering more amazing gaming experiences throughout 2016, including the launch of PlayStation VR this October." So yeah, Sony just continues to boast, like, hey, we have the best selling console, and Xbox like, all right, well, we're still selling really well, but we're not going to say how many. So yeah, PS4
Yep.
it's doing well.
Yep, of course.
Let's see, we are at the 52-minute mark, so we'll get through a couple more stories real quickly. Excuse me. This is NBA 2K17 is getting a special Kobe Bryant Legend Edition. So NBA future Hall of Famer Kobe Bryant has officially retired from the NBA after I think 20 years. So they're gonna NBA 2K is gonna honor him with. Is there a clap?
Yes.
Okay. They announced that Kobe will be on a special version of NBA 2K16 called the Legend Edition. This version of the pro basketball game will include all manner of Kobe-themed digital and physical contents. And Kobe said in a statement, "It's a great honor to partner with 2K on the NBA 2K17 Legend Edition. As I walk off the NBA court for the final time, it's exciting to know my fans can continue to celebrate my lifelong career as a Los Angeles Laker." And this Legend Edition will be $80, and it comes with, for physical items, a limited edition Kobe Bryant poster, 2 Kobe Panini trading cards, a Black Mamba game controller skin, and then for digital content, you get 30,000 retro currency, a My Team bundle, which includes 3 packs with guaranteed Kobe limited use card, Nike Kobe 11 retirement shoes, Kobe number 8 Mitchell and Ness jersey, and a Kobe hoodie. And you can get it physically and digitally. It's great that they're honoring Kobe.
Unless it includes Kobe Bryant, it's no dice for me.
And just getting stuff.
I got my own Kobe.
There you go. Kobe, can you please teach me how to shoot? Sure thing, kid. Um, it's awesome that they're honoring Kobe one last time, just like the rest of the NBA did and the world did. They're giving him a special edition for a very popular game. So that's awesome.
One last hurrah.
Yeah, absolutely. And then our second to last story for the week, Tyler. I know you're excited. I think I saw you tweet about this or post in the chat. Batman Arkham HD Collection coming to PS4 and Xbox One, according to a report. One second.
Pre-orders open tomorrow.
This is via GameSpot. Story reads, as Rocksteady's first two Batman games will be re-released on PS4 and Xbox One, it seems. GameStop has sent images of an unannounced Batman HD collection to Eurogamer, suggesting the bundle will include new versions of Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City, as well as all the DLC for both games. And this is matched up with a report from March of last year. And sadly, the middle child in this case, Batman Arkham Origins. Why did I say oranges? Origins.
Batman has oranges confirmed. I
Orange
see.
box crossover.
Batman Arkham Origins will not be in the package, and the new versions of those games included in the HD collection will have updated visuals that have been optimized for PS4 and Xbox One, according to the leak. And Eurogamer reports that the Batman HD collection will go on sale June 10th, with pre-orders opening tomorrow, April 19th. And if this is true, we could see an announcement
and no PC version listed either.
Also known as updated games based on PC version at max settings.
Yes.
This is true. This is true.
So I mean, what do you guys think about a potential Arkham HD package?
I think it's cool. I mean, I haven't really gotten around to playing the Arkham series too much yet, so I think it would be better just to play them on like the PS4, the Xbox One, because of course that'll be the best way to play them, unless you play them on PC. But I've heard that both games, of course, Knight had pretty big issues on PC.
That's had issues. Tyler, what do you think? I know you're a big fan of Batman, of course, and then the Arkham games.
I think it's cool, but I think it's silly at the same time, because something like this I probably would have released before Arkham Knight, would have taken cues from Naughty Dog releasing the Nathan Drake collection before Uncharted for, to build hype for your game. Because, not everybody had played the games, as is the case with, one could argue for every game on every generation, especially when a numbered sequel, especially when a numbered sequel is coming out on new hardware, So, me personally, I think it's cool. I do think it's cool, to get people to play these games, because most people would argue that these games were better than Arkham Knight, and in some aspects I'm inclined to agree, especially with City, because City probably takes it as my favorite.
Yeah, City's fantastic.
Yeah, my favorite Batman game. But what I liked about Asylum the most was, for me personally, I felt it was the most focused game, and I don't know if it's to do with the fact that the game is smaller in scale, if I could say that. But everything just seemed more focused, you had a set goal, like a Metroidvania type setup.
I can agree with that, definitely.
Yeah. So once I hit City, and then it was open, I didn't know what to do with all the freedom I had been given. Just go anywhere in the city, So I felt like a dog going on its first walk.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for official confirmation of that BioShock collection.
Oh yes, I remember that. I remember that dropped. Can you believe I've never played the original BioShock?
What?
I've played two. Well, I never finished 2. I still have it. I'm planning to finish it, and I finished Infinite. Yeah, the original BioShock. I literally played 5 minutes of it, and then that was that.
I have the entire trilogy on Steam, but of course I don't have a computer to run them. So I've played a bit of Infinite. That's it.
Oh my God, Tyler, why?
Thus, the friendship was over.
Listen, Bioshock 2 is very good. Infinite is also very good. Bioshock 1 is exceptional.
But that's the thing. Like, I prefer the atmosphere of one, but the problem is like I've never been able to find like okay at the time I didn't have a PC that could run it, and then like I just could never find it for PS3. Like after they did the PS3 version,
hmm
I struggled to find it. So
Yeah, if they do eventually announce it, praying to do, you gotta play one. It's one of my favorite games of all time, and it's a recommend to everybody. I still think it holds up so well. Um, yeah, in regards to the Arkham Asylum slash City HD package, it's cool. I don't see myself buying it, but if you haven't played either game, this is the perfect opportunity to jump in. Yeah, both games are very good. I think I prefer Asylum. Call me crazy, but they're both fantastic. And it's no better way to join, especially with Arkham Knight already out on PS4 and Xbox One, so you can play the entire trilogy there. Um, yeah, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
More surprising, like I was a little bit surprised by this, but in the
yeah,
back of my
like came out
mind,
of
I'm
nowhere.
like, you know what, like it's not that big of a deal. But I suppose
Pretty
it's
much like the
it's
Dishonored.
it's a surprise because there was a good like 4 month span where we got so many announcements for like HD remakes and everything, and we haven't gotten them in a while. So maybe this will be the first one in a while.
Yeah, I
Um,
think I think like HD remasters and stuff are finally just like starting to fade away
yeah,
because now uh like big games are actually starting to come out.
mhm,
So it's kind of no need for them anymore
yeah,
because like the first 2 years there just wasn't much coming out really on the Xbox One to PS4. So I guess remasters kind of bridged it.
mhm, yeah,
So there isn't really any need for remasters anymore.
right.
Kyle, you know exactly why I like Batman Arkham City. 3 words: Batman Beyond Skin.
Look at you. Look at you.
Oh, me and Tyler really love Batman Beyond.
Dylan too. Dylan said we would marathon Batman Beyond while spooning. He said I had to choose if I wanted to be the big or the little spoon.
Well, that'll be something else. Quite a romantic evening. So our last story, Dark Souls 3, just released as of last week, has already broken sales records. Dark Souls 3 enjoyed a record-breaking debut. Bandai Namco has announced the developer said the game had the most successful launch day in the publisher's history, while it's also become the fastest-selling game ever for the company. Overall, Dark Souls 3 saw incredibly strong first week sales. There have been no numbers yet released for Dark Souls 3, but it's awesome that it's selling well. It's of course came out last week
Yeah.
in the West, so yeah, that's awesome. They also said that the game's first expansion for Dark Souls 3 will come out this fall. We don't know its contents yet, but there has been
It'll be
a
some
previous
sort of
leak
extension, of
that
course.
there was some previous leak that suggested new maps, bosses, enemies, and weapon, stuff you've seen
Yeah.
before in Dark Souls and Bloodborne. It's awesome that Dark Souls is gaining
Yeah.
popularity, and
This amazes me. It really does because you got Demon Souls, which didn't really sell well at all. Then you got Dark Souls
I'm
that
gonna check
sold,
that.
and then you got Dark Souls, which sold all right. Then you
I
got
think
Dark Souls
Demon
2.
Souls sold bonkers in Japan, but when they brought it to the West,
Yeah,
like there wasn't proper marketing for it. So I think that was also
yeah,
one of the issues.
Looking
Yes.
this up
yeah.
now.
And just like the Souls series as a whole is just very kind of like limited in its audience based on its content. If like not truly, but because it's a difficult game. Harkening back to
It's not the most
Castlevania.
accessible.
Yeah, and it's just like seeing Dark Souls 3 come out, everybody's raging over it, playing it and everything. There's a pun in there. Um,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's insane to see a Japanese game like this rise like so high in popularity this fast.
I would disagree there, but Souls wise, yeah, I could definitely see that. Looking up now in VG charts, Demon Souls actually sold the most in North America at just under 1 million units, and collectively, it sold about 1.8 million units in total. I'm gonna look up the Dark Souls sales numbers real quickly.
I think it might be around 2 million. I'm not sure.
I'll have to look this up. This is from July of last year on Eurogamer. This is Dark Souls has surpassed 8.5 million sales, and more than 2.5 million of those were on PC.
Oh,
So Dark Souls has sold just under 3 million units worldwide. This is according to the numbers. Dark Souls Prepare to Die has sold, again, just under 3 million. Dark Souls 2 sold about 2.3 million. Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin has sold 600,000 units. And this was last year, so I imagine it's been bumped up maybe to a couple 100,000 more. So in total, at that time of July last year, it was at 8.5 million units sold.
so pretty
uh,
much about 6 something million for the entire series.
No, 8 million. 8 million, 8.5 million
Yeah, okay.
for the series entirely. So yeah,
That really doesn't sound too bad.
it's gained popularity for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And Dark Souls 3, I think it's been word of mouth. Like you gotta try out Dark Souls. I think for me it was always, Dark Souls came out I think 2011. And that's 5 years ago. I was like, I don't want to jump into a game that's 5 years old. And with Dark Souls 3, I'm like, it's a new game, it's fresh. I can jump into
Yeah.
it when it's just starting out.
Yeah, and I think the fact that
when
it's
it's popular.
that it's just like so like different from a lot of games that are coming out, and of course there are games that are copying off of Soul series, so it's just like I think people really like that about it, is that it's different because like I said, it harkens back to like Castlevania and stuff. We haven't really had a Castlevania game a true Castlevania game in years, so I think people were really liking that. It's difficult and it's enjoyable, but it's also frustrating, and I like that about it. And
But you
I
go
think
through
you
it.
should play it. I think a lot of people should play it. That type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. So that is going to wrap up episode 59 of the Game Bowl Podcast. And of course, be sure to check out thegamebowl.com and some of the recent stuff we've done lately. I think Liam's going to have a review of Stories. I forget the name of the game.
Stories, Path of Destiny.
Path of Destiny. He'll have that review up in the next few days. I have my Ratchet and Clank review up. Jake, I believe late last week, after the podcast, put up his Dark Souls 3 review. So be sure to check that out. Toby has some features, just features and reviews. It's review season, so there's always something coming out. I'm doing Severed next week, so I'm excited for that. There's a lot. And if you have any topics or questions for the show, feel free to tweet them at us at _GameBolts. And again, this podcast posts to iTunes every Tuesday and YouTube every Wednesday, and then you can find all three of us on Twitter as well. Kyle, where can we find you?
Clock Down RME.
And Tyler?
I'm gonna sound like I'm having a stroke. I don't.
You okay over there?
No, just give me a second. Yeah, no, I keep forgetting this handle because my Twitter handle and my PSN ID are so similar, so I forget which one has the dash and underscore, because one just has an underscore and one has a dash and an underscore.
Oh, geez.
Okay, Yeah. So my Twitter handle is at Ty_Daniels 1967.
You were born in 1967? Man, wow.
I'm an old
Dude,
man.
you're old.
No, he was not born in 1967. He was born in 2000. He's a little boy. That's also not true. I don't know when Tyler was born.
I was born 2000, but
There you go. Anyways, you can follow me at Brett Woodmansee, WOODMANSEE. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. You take care.